The city was a labyrinth of shadows. Skyscrapers, once symbols of human achievement, were now dwarfed by monstrous forms. Giants, their eyes burning like molten gold, stalked through the concrete jungle. Buildings crumbled under their weight, crushed like toys in the hands of a petulant child. The air was thick with dust and the stench of fear. Screams echoed through the desolate streets, a chilling symphony of terror. People scattered like mice before a hungry cat, their faces pale with terror. Nowhere was safe. The giants were relentless in their pursuit, driven by an insatiable hunger. One giant, larger than any other, slammed its fist into a skyscraper. Glass shattered, raining down like deadly shards. Its roar, a guttural sound from the depths of nightmares, shook the very foundations of the city. This was no ordinary disaster, this was annihilation. A group of survivors huddled in the shattered remnants of a convenience store. Among them, a young woman, her eyes wide with fear, clutched a small child close. The child whimpered, burying his face in her tattered coat. "We're trapped," whispered an old man, his voice trembling. "There's nowhere left to run." Despair settled over them, like a shroud. The ground trembled as the giants drew closer, their footsteps like thunder. Suddenly, a deafening crash split the air. The store shuddered, dust raining down from the ceiling. A monstrous hand, gnarled and scarred, smashed through the storefront, scattering debris like leaves in a hurricane. The giant leaned in, its breath hot and fetid, its eyes searching. Just when all hope seemed lost, a figure leaped onto the giant's hand. He was young, barely a man, but his eyes burned with a fierce light. He wore a simple leather jacket, ripped and torn from countless battles, and in his hand he held an object that shimmered with an otherworldly glow. An amulet, ancient and powerful. "Hey, ugly!" the young man shouted, his voice surprisingly strong in the face of such monstrous terror. "Pick on someone your own size!" the giant roared, shaking its hand, but the young man held firm, his grip strengthened by an unseen force. The survivors in the store watched in stunned silence. Who was this boy who dared to challenge such a creature? But as they looked closer, they saw something in his eyes, a spark of defiance, a glimmer of hope that had long since flickered out in their own hearts. Could he be the one to save them? The amulet in the young man's hand pulsed with light, bathing the giant in its ethereal glow. The monster roared, recoiling from the light as if it were burning him. He shook his hand violently, trying to dislodge the young man, but he clung on, his grip unwavering. He raised the amulet high above his head, and a beam of pure energy shot out, striking the giant in the chest. The monster howled in pain, its flesh sizzling where the light touched it. It stumbled back, its eyes wide with shock and fear, and then with a final earth-shattering roar, it collapsed, vanishing into a cloud of dust. The young man jumped down from the giant's lifeless hand, landing lightly on the ground. He turned to the survivors, a tired but triumphant smile on his face. "It's going to be all right," he said, his voice calm and reassuring. "I'm here to help." In that moment, he wasn't just a boy, he was a beacon of hope in a city consumed by darkness.